1to1radio.com.
Hi there, this is Craig Higgins.
I'm in East Lothian in Scotland, record under the name of The Last Ghost, and I'm absolutely delighted to be on JD's playlist.
Hi Craig, thanks for joining us. We just heard your song, Only Got a Year. Can you tell us the inspiration behind the song and what it means to you?
Yeah, so that song, Only Got a Year, is a song in my first album that was out in 2020 called, the album's called The Last Ghost. Imaginative title. But the song Only Got a Year, it's a really important song to me because I think when I was making the album I was putting together some songs that I thought were quite good, but I think that was the first song that I wrote probably ever in my life when I kind of listened back and thought to myself, that's a great song. And it's unusual for me to say that, and it sounds big-headed I suppose, but it's unusual for me to listen to something that I've written or recorded and look at it objectively and rate it. But I thought, like, from the bands I've been in before and the bands that I like, I thought it was a really great song, to the point that if somebody I liked, I don't know, like Paul Weller or Elliott Smith or something like that, if I heard the song that they had done and it was that one, I would like it, and I would think it was good and it was sort of worthy of their catalogue. Again, that sounds ridiculously big-headed because I'm not trying to compare myself to any of these great artists, but it's an important song to me because I thought it was, as I say, it's a really strong song. Also, it doesn't necessarily mean a year. I guess what I was thinking in my mind was just a period of time. You only get a certain amount of time, and in the period of time I was thinking about that inspired the song, it wasn't actually a year, but it just, to me, was a good sounding title. Like, anything can go in the blink of an eye. 20 years can feel like a year, 2 years can feel like a year. It's just a sort of measurement of something, and yeah, I just like the title as well. And I think it's I still think that when I listen back to the first album now, there's some things on there that I think, should that have been there, or should I have edited that one, or should that song have been towards the end, or should I have kept it for the next album. Whereas that song, I hope that I'll listen to that in 10 years time and I'll still like it and I'll still rate it. So it's a massive tune for me.
Aye, and it's a peachier track as well. So, an interesting choice of band name, The Last Ghost. Where did it come from, and how did you get started?
Yeah, the name The Last Ghost, I get asked about that a lot, and I really wish I had a better, more interesting answer as to why that is the name that I record under. A lot of people think it's a band, but actually it's just me and my own. It's my kind of sort of name for solo music. I thought that Craig Higgins was a bit boring, and when I was putting out the first EP 2 years ago now, I was kind of conscious that I had to come up with something. And I don't know, I like the image of that, just the idea, the last ghost. Not just a ghost, and not just like the last of something, but it's such a sort of bleak image. The last ghost, not even the last person, the last ghost. I thought that seems to have a bit of gravitas, and it just probably just sounds quite cool as well. And so that's what I went with.
Okay, so keeping it in on inspiration, who are your favourite band and what's the best gig that you've ever been to?
Oh, that's a tough one. Favourite band or artist? That's really tough, actually. I don't have a massive range of taste in music. My taste is actually quite narrow. I like what I like, and I like it religiously. So like there's I don't know, a dozen or 20 bands or artists that I like, but I absolutely love them. I'm not the sort of person who has hundreds or thousands of records by a broad range of artists. I like what I like, and when I like it, I absolutely love it. And a lot of it's really obvious stuff that I like, I like the Beatles, and I like Pink Floyd, and I like Small Faces, I like The Who, anything from that kind of period. It's hard for me to say what my favourite is. I find that impossible. I've got a short list of 4 or 5 at any given time, but I suppose if I was really pushed, I would have to say Paul Weller. I'm not a massive Jam fan. I like them, and I like the sort of best of the Jam and stuff like that, and there's a lot of stuff that I love, but I'm not obsessed with their 5 albums, and I'm not obsessed with the Style Council or anything like that. But Paul Weller's solo career, especially the beginning, his first 3 albums to me are flawless. His debut, Wildwood, and Stanley Road, and probably even put Heavy Soul in there as well. I think they're just absolutely great and stand the test of time. And that brings me neatly to the best band I've seen live. I've seen a lot of bands live that I love. You know, I've saw some great shows over the years. First gig I went to was, or first big gig I went to was U2, Zoo TV in Celtic Park in 1993. And around that time as well, I saw Paul Weller on the Wildwood tour at the Barrowlands. And even now, those would be hard to beat. And I've probably got a top 10 list of gigs as well. If I was, again, really pushed, Paul Weller at the Barrowlands Wildwood tour. Amazing.
Oh, that's a great choice as well. So I'm reliably informed that you've got a new album on the way, and you've lined us up a wee exclusive from your upcoming new album. Which track did you choose, and why?
So yes, got an album coming out at the end of October that I'm really excited about. My first album was out just a year ago actually, and this is the fourth. So I've been working hard. I was actually recording 2 albums at once this time, so this one it's about to come out will be followed, I think, fairly quickly this time by the fifth album, which is, it's not far away. I've still got a bit of work to do in it, but that's getting there as well. But it's tough this, because I like the new album a lot. I think it's my best one. I think I've been building up to this one. I really rate it. It's a lot more song based, and I think the writing and the playing and the production and all these things has got better. And I feel that it's up to, you know, it's a new level from what I've done before. Choosing one's quite hard. I don't necessarily always choose my favourite. I sometimes just try and think what will maybe come across good on a radio show, and what's an introduction to me and my music. There's some mellow stuff on there that I might have went with, but it's maybe in the same vein as a song that you've already heard. So I'm going to go with a song called Holding Tightly. I wanted this to be a big Britpop anthem, a big overblown, almost like the song My Wife by The Who, where it goes into like a brass section at the end and just goes on for ages. And at one point it was about 13 minutes long, with guitar solos and all that at the end, indulgent, overblown. But I managed to get it down to maybe 5 minutes or something, mercifully. And I got my friend Alan to play some guitar at the end of this, because he's much better than me. And this song is called Holding Tightly, and it's from my new album. And the album is called Tiny Raptures, and it's out on the 29th of October. I hope you can check it out.
Awesome. Thanks again for joining us.
Thanks very much for having me.
And as promised, here's an exclusive first play of Holding Tightly.
I was JD's playlist.